Special requirements are 2/10. First meet last year, the young lady, first 4X up, young lady missed a special requirement, and it was one that you just kind of would maybe have gone over, and I went, I got it. 9-5 start down here. The other judge did the same thing. And their coach didn't inquire. So we realized it, went back, and we've made the change, but that wasn't fair. But anyway, it's one thing you have to remember. One acro series is required. The series must contain 3 acro flight elements with or without hand support, so it does not require salto. Just 3 acro flight skills. Round off, flick, flack, satisfies this requirement. The second one is 2 directly connected saltos or 1 acro with double salto. That was the same as it was before. So they could do front, nothing else, and that would satisfy that. They could do front handspring, front layout, and it would satisfy the first 2. Because she would have the 1 series and the double salto. 3 different saltos in the series. They do not have to be, or in the exercise, they do not have to be in series. They can be isolated, but they must show you 3 different saltos. The saltos, whether they're a step out or legs together does not matter, but the entry going in and the body shape does change, which is different than some of the others. Whoops. Okay. The dance series is a requirement on floor with a minimum 2 elements: leaps, jumps, hops, turns. Doesn't have to be a 180. Doesn't have to go off of 1 foot. Just has to be 2 dance elements directly connected, one of which has to be a C. So that's a little different than age group, but the same as if you judged college. That was the same as last year. And then the last one is if there's a minimum of a C salto as the last salto or in the last connection of saltos, or a bonus combination in the last connection. So they have to have round off, flip flop, double full in the last pass, or a connection, so they could do a front leg, and have a bonus connection there. Special compositional deductions. The first one is a lack of variety in choice of elements, 1/10 flat. And this is a lack of variety in dance elements first. They're required to show at least 2 different shapes and leaps, and the shapes that are considered different are a little bit same as on B, a little bit different. But here are your examples. The entry technique, you're going to look at it at the height of the skill. So whether it's a 1 foot takeoff or 2 foot takeoff doesn't matter. What does matter is the shape of the skill at the height of the skill. Whether it's a wolf, chuck, pike, and again, the chuck and catter are the same, are different here. Let me just make a comment about the ring. It requires the head release if the leg is high enough, and we see this a lot, and I think there are a couple on some of the films we have. The leg is up there, and it's obvious that she's trying to do a ring, and you'll say, did you give that ring? If there's no head release, it is not a ring. That is one requirement. The leg does not have to be quite as high to get credit for the ring. It doesn't have to be at head level to get credit for the ring, but you would take the deduction accordingly. But the head release is a requirement. These are the same examples that we used last year, and obviously there would be more of them, but you can see where these would be different. So the tour-jeté half, very common one that we see a lot of, and the split full, even though they're both the split position. Now she adds a straddle jump, that gives you the credit. So you would not take the deduction. A switch side, okay, because at the height of it, it's a straddle position, and a popa, again, the straddle position, and a shushanova, again, a straddle position, and then she adds a split jump in there. Now it's forward and backward, fine. Double turn, obviously, is going to be different than the popa. Straddle will different position. Cat, beef, and wolf, different. So you can see that these are all listed, and they're actually in the paper that they have. So you can. All right, then we come to more than one leap or jump to prone. I think we've kind of. Did anybody ever have that deduction last year? Did you? Okay. They cannot do more than one leap, jump. In other words, Shushanova. They can do one of those. That's it. Otherwise, it's 1/10 for each one. Lack of variety of acro elements. Now, this was a little different because the first one was 1/10 for lack of dance. And this one now is up to 1/10. We're going to talk a little bit about that. The minimum is that you have one forward or sideward and one backward of a value or higher. That's the minimum, which means that if you don't have one of those, it's going to be the 1/10. So if the gymnast does round off, back handspring double full, whip 1.5, and then comes back with a double tuck, she's going to lose 1/10 because she does not have the minimum of the A front or sideward. However, if they do have the minimum, because it's up to 1/10, that means that there is a 0.05 in there. So they have the minimum, but that's all. Then you might go back for variety of acro and take the 0.05. So if this same gymnast would do a round off double full and then instead of the whip, do a 1.5 punch front and then come back with a double back. She only has the A, which is the minimum, but she does that. You could go back and take the 0.05. But you might also want to look at, we're talking variety, so don't just get hung up on the A and that's all she has. You want to also look at, this would be an area where you might want to say it's all twisting or it's all saltoing. Round off double back pike, comes in with a double back, front through to a double back tuck. So she has the A, but everything's double. There's no twisting. We do have one floor routine that's similar to that. We're going to show you, and you'll see that when you look at your paper, it kind of stands out at you. So anyway, the point is it's up to 0.1. There is that 0.05 there, but the only time you would take the 1 is if they don't have the minimum. Insufficient distribution. This is a change from last year. Last year it was up to 0.1. It now has been changed to a flat 0.05. So you're going to look here at whether the level of difficulty is not maintained throughout the exercise, and are almost all the difficult elements, we're not just talking acro, are all the difficult elements in one section of the exercise. So we have some examples of that here where you could look at that and make that determination. It's not a huge number, but I really feel that when we're finished today, we hope that we've given you enough tools that you're not going to get hung up on the choice of elements, but better evaluate the entire routine. Insufficient use of the floor area. And I've had occasion to take this deduction, but it's one that really stands out to you. The gymnast definitely goes nothing but cross this way, cross this way, cross this way, and the directional and the choreography doesn't allow your eye to change back and forth. We know exactly where they're going, but it's not a usual one. Choice of acro elements. These are specific. It's the lack of a minimum C in the routine. So front through to full, front, layout position, comes back with a full at the end. She's going to lose 3/10 automatic for no C in the routine. Not a normal deduction, but is a possibility. And acro elements not up to the competitive level. This is a flat 0.1 and it's very specific.